Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. Before you all panic, I'm not going to drop dead. But I do have something that's incurable. But we can help. Before you all fly off the handle and worry and this, that and the other. Whoops. Oh, brushing again. Something touched the back of my leg. It was a cymbidium. Wasn't alive. Well, not that sort of alive. I've got IBS. I've been thinking I might have this for some time. And I was talking to Hannah because she came down on Friday to help with the garden and we couldn't because she cricked her neck. And I didn't feel like it anyway, quite honestly. We found other things to do, and one of those things was to discuss this and get on the internet and do some research. Now, a lot of medical people watching are going to say you shouldn't do that, you should go to your doctor. I can think of 5 people I know recently that have gone to their doctor, and out of those 5, 4 were misdiagnosed and 1 missed a serious condition. And that person became very, very ill as a consequence. So don't put me in line with people that can do that. I've got no problem with going to hospitals, don't get me wrong. You break an arm, you go to the appropriate people. And the other thing I've got no time for as well is this trendy thing that you've got some mental illness. What you mean is you worry a bit. It's not a flipping illness. Again, don't get me wrong, there are some serious problems in that arena, but it's become trendy, especially amongst the young. You know, I've got a mental illness, my exams are coming up. You're just worried, so you're just worried. It's a natural thing for people to worry about stuff. Not a big deal. Well, not in my book anyway. So, out of the things we came up with, first of all, let's go over what I've got. What I've got is occasional stomach cramps. They most often occur in the night, resulting in waking me up. That often coincides with needing a wee. I don't know whether one triggers the other, but I think what it is the stomach cramp probably disturbs my sleep, and then, you know, the rest of me sort of says, well, as you're awake, you just well go to the loo, sort of thing. This is not serious. It's not every night. It's not multiple times a night. It's now and again. Symptom number 1. Symptom number 2, you've been looking at for some considerable time. So we decided to analyse that. Well, let's have a think about what you eat then. When you eat, what you eat, and most importantly, how much you eat. And Hannah decided that I don't eat enough to feed a mouse. So we're not overeating. And the other thing is that if I was overeating, I'd be gaining weight. I'm not gaining weight. I'm not losing weight either. And let's have a look. Have I got fat arms? No. Have I got fat legs? No. Am I all, you know, does my neck start by my ears and go down to my shoulders? No. It's just that. It's the equivalent of a beer belly. And do I drink beer? No. So, that's the main symptom. And also going to the loo. Occasionally, that is a little bit urgent. Not desperate, but like needs to be soon, sort of thing. This is not life debilitating like it can be. Some people can get this so bad they virtually live in the room next to their toilet because they can't go any farther away than that. So they can't go out anywhere. Now I haven't got all that. So I'm not like I can't go to shows because I can't do a 2-hour drive because I might not make it, sort of thing. I haven't got any of that. Yeah? So this is a very, very mild thing that I've got. But like all things that you can have, they can get better and they can get worse. And if this gets to the more serious version, then my lifestyle will have to change. I'll have to stop and think about journeys and places that I'm going to. Walks in the countryside, you know, but at the moment, no. So we then had fun analysing stuff, like you said, things to avoid, high fibre. And I said, well, I don't know what foods I have that are high fibre. She said, well, the most obvious one is brown bread, because you have toast for breakfast. I said, yeah, I've only just restarted doing that because I gave up gluten. I went totally gluten-free for some time. That made no difference. So I decided that I enjoy my toast and marmalade so much for breakfast, I'm going to bring that back in. And what I do is I have a home shop about once a fortnight, so I get a loaf of bread. A couple of slices of toast for breakfast till the bread runs out, at which point I switch back to breakfast cereals. One of which is oats. Highly recommended. Eating oats, porridge type stuff. Eat it regularly, they say. Anyway, gluten and lactose, both. I'm virtually both free. As far as lactose is concerned, this is black, so I don't buy milk anymore. The milk I have on my cereals is an almond based, so, you know, lactose, gluten-free, all that sort of stuff. I could buy gluten-free bread. Unfortunately, they don't do it in my local shop. They don't do any. They used to, but they said it was getting left over too often. Obviously, that's, you know, a penalty for a little local shop. But this week in my local shop, I've decided to have, I found out what sounds like a really nice free-from loaf, you know, so we'll give that a go. I don't think that's going to make much difference. The only regular dairy product I have is, I occasionally have a pizza. Well, that's got cheese on it, obviously. Well, I'm not living off the flipping things, you know, perhaps once a week I might have a pizza because I can't be bothered to cook anything or prepare anything. So that's not a frequent occurrence. And given that some people have a cheese board for their supper, it's not even a huge amount of cheese. So there's that. What else? I have butter on my toast. And that's it. You know, there's no sort of cakes and other stuff that's got high milk content in it. There is a bit more coming up later. Right, high fat, no. Apart from going back to the cheese that's on the pizza, which is probably classed as high fat. I don't have fatty foods. The meat that I have is lean meat. It's either chicken or steak or pork chops. And if the pork chop or the steak's got any fat on it, I cut it off and throw it away. I don't eat it. So I don't have high fatty foods. The mince I use for some of my bulk cooking is very low fat, 5%. You know, I deliberately choose that. So I don't have high fat stuff. We don't have that. Processed foods, don't have them. I don't get any prepared meals, you know, put it in the microwave 3 minutes and it's ready. Peel the top off. I don't have that sort of food in the house. So processed food, no. Exception, the Orchid show coming up this Saturday, I'll have a bacon roll. Well, bacon's processed food. And it's always got too much salt in it. But it's a treat. I don't live off the stuff. Also, when I pick up Hannah, on our way back for our brunch, because she's often had nothing to eat when I pick her up, we stop off at a roadside sort of wagon, and I usually have an egg and bacon roll, and that's my sort of breakfast brunch, you might call it. Hannah often has the same, so I've had bacon again, yeah? And I've also had a bit of bread, and it's probably got a bit of butter on it, and I pick Hannah up once a month. What else we've got? Spicy foods. Guilty. Guilt is charged. Now this could be a bit of a problem, but there's a sort of way around it. My 3 bulk cooking meals, where I cook a cauldron full, portion it up for the freezer, are curry, spicy. Not only spicy, I'm using store-bought sauces, and 2 naughty ingredients we've now included, onions and garlic. I don't use the garlic, as in fresh garlic chopped up and put in it, but there's garlic puree often in the sauces, and obviously there's onion going in there, and onions are not supposed to be good. So that's the curry. All the other stuff in the curry is fine. You know, it's just that the onion's the worst bit. And Hannah said, why don't you try making one without the onions and see if it's still okay? And I said, well, surely onion is a major flavour. And she said, not really. Onion absorbs flavour and often really loses its own flavour in doing so. So she said, try one. I said, yeah, but I won't be trying one, will I? I'll be trying 8. Anyway, we might give that a go. Chilli. Now we've got a lot of guilty stuff here. Chilli, spicy. I like mine hot. Yeah, so you've got spicy. The sauces that I use have got garlic puree in. And what else is chilli mainly consisting of? Beans. So I think the chilli might have to go. But then I bulk cook the chilli. I might have one a week or maybe even every 10 days. I'm not living off the stuff. I've got 3 different types of bulk cooking and other things that I have in between. Fish, I eat quite a lot of fish. Good stuff, you know. I had salmon the other evening. Last night I had a pork chop. Cut the fat off, you know, and some vegetables. So, oh yeah, right. Fizzy drinks, don't have. Never. Don't have fizzy drinks. The only fizzy drink I would have is a bottled beer when it's hot in the summer, and I'll use that as a nice refreshing cool drink. One, not you know, not a bucket full. So I don't have fizzy drinks, so we don't have to worry about that. I don't have sweeteners. There's certain types of sweeteners are aggravating. I don't think I would have anything that includes those. Pretty sure. Right, next we get on to the biggie. I'm holding it in my hand. Caffeine. Most places get to the point where if they're going to be specific, they say you shouldn't have more than 3 cups of strong coffee a day. That's a day, not an hour. That's black coffee because I've stopped having the milk a long time ago. Yeah. The sugar that's in it is not a sweetener. It's a natural demerara sugar, so it's not refined. So it's a pure type of sugar, and it's a level teaspoon. I used to have 3 heaped ones, yeah, so I don't have anywhere near as much sugar in. And the bonus is that is half decaf and half ordinary. And it's not what you would call a strong coffee because I make it myself. Yeah, and as a consequence of having half decaf and half normal, I'm not limited to 3 cups, am I? Limited to 6. That's about what I have, because I only drink coffee in the mornings. Now the number of cups is totally dependent on what time of day I get up, and recently I've been getting up about 5:30, 6 o'clock. That's an hour later. That's probably 2 cups of coffee less. So the caffeine is a problem. Alcohol, yes, I do have some of that. I drink wine. To give that up, we'd be going back to that would cause a mental illness because I'd be really peed off. But I've gone through a phase where I was drinking too much alcohol. Actually, I was opening a bottle, and most days that whole bottle would be gone. That's stopped. I don't do that. It's very rare that that happens now. Fruit, fresh fruit. Don't have any. Don't particularly like fruit. It's funny, if I had an apple I'd probably enjoy it, but I don't buy it. It usually ends up going off before I can eat it, so fruit's not a problem. There are some fruits that are okay, like avocados I think it is, strawberries are okay, but I don't get fresh fruit in. It's difficult for one, you know, they come in big packs. I do most of my cooking at home, so I know what's going in it. So I don't think I need to change my diet dramatically, but I think we might have to think about how spicy the curry is. See now the bolognese, now the sauces that go into that aren't that spicy. It's a tomato-y type sauce, isn't it? But it has got onion, dried onions, and it has got garlic in it, either powdered garlic or garlic puree. Now those two, they're in virtually every sauce you can get. So it'll be difficult. If I cut out my 3 bulk meals, I'm going to double my shopping bill because of the types of things I'd have to replace it with. I can't afford to do that. We can't go mad. So all I think I'm going to do is I'm probably going to cut the chili out because it's solid beans basically, which is not ideal. Plus the garlic, and sometimes there's 3 big onions go into that when I do it. Now okay, if it makes 8 portions, I haven't got 3 big onions in each portion, it's spread out. But the onions will be a little difficult to cut down on. The next curry I do, I will try it without onions altogether, even though there'll be a little bit in the sauces, a bit of dried onion or whatever. And we'll see how we go. But I'm not changing lots of stuff because, as I said, we sat down and went through everything and there's not a lot I need to change. Bearing in mind I have very, very, very light symptoms. We also had to go through the process of elimination. Could it actually be anything else? Could it be something else? And it's difficult to find anything else that it could actually be. So I'm going to live with it as it is and carry on as normal with some slight dietary changes, and they are slight, I'm not going mad. As I said, I'll switch my because the trouble is with the brown bread, you're looking at rough fibre, which is quite difficult to digest. There's other types of food that's got fibre in it that's soft fibre and easily digested. So because you need that, you've got to have some. So that's a sort of substitution, and I'll switch back to the gluten-free bread, see if I can find a decent one. It doesn't have to be nice fresh because I don't eat fresh bread, very rarely. It's just got to make nice toast basically. So we do that. The amount of dairy that I have, I don't think I need to change at the moment, but what I do need to do is watch what I call the next day syndrome. Yeah, so what you did this day is going to have an effect on your night's sleep and at least AM of the following day. So which days are a bit more troublesome than others, and what happened the night before? So relate if I can. And then we might actually do a bit more pinpointing where we can actually say, well, that definitely upsets your stomach. You see what I mean? And we'll see where we go. So I didn't want to frighten you all, but long term it could get a lot worse in theory. And if it gets a lot worse, this doesn't change. The toilet's just there, just through the lounge in the hallway. So this wouldn't change. What would change is the trips out, going to the shows, and even being a member of an orchid society. The getting there could be a problem in the long term. At the moment, it's not a problem. There is no problem. I don't have a trouble with a journey or anything like that. So far, so good. But yeah, it's a bit niggly to know that you've sort of got something. But apparently, there's an awful lot of people suffer with this. A lot of the different places you look this up, the average says 1 in 5. That's an awful lot of people that suffer with some sort of bowel disorders. Anyway, that's it. That appears to be what I've got, and what I'm prepared to do about it while the symptoms are as they are, which is almost negligible, but not, because they are there, I'm aware of it. So we'll see how we go. But no, I'm not running to a doctor. So don't mention it. Don't even try and think that that's the best thing to do. I've got far too much evidence from friends and family to the contrary. So fact, actual, not theory, fact. My sister had constant headaches. She went to the doctor multiple times, and the basic consensus was you're in a stressful job, you worry a lot, you've got a few financial issues, take 2 aspirins and rest more. Turns out she had a brain tumour. The surgery, once she got referred to a proper medical professional in a hospital, the surgery she had means she's virtually deaf in one ear now. If that had been diagnosed properly and early, she probably wouldn't have lost her hearing. That's my sister, that's direct family. So don't give me all that nonsense, go to your local doctor, because they can't possibly know everything, even though they have years and years of training. But you can't know it all. And too many people are getting things missed. It's probably because they're in so much of a rush, you know, instead of having this amount of time to chat to each person, they only get that amount of time now because they've got to see so many more people, you know. It's not necessarily their own fault. Anyway, so that's it, that's what it's all about, and as far as the videos and the orchids world is concerned, nothing changes, nothing at all. But I thought it was worth a mention, but don't panic, don't all worry or anything like that. Some people are going, no, I won't then. That's fine. And at the moment, I will be fine. Things will be okay. At the moment. And let's just hope I can keep it like that. If things start to get considerably worse, we might do a bit more serious dietary changes. And if it still keeps getting worse, then, you know, we might need some medication. In which case we will go to some sort of specialist and see if we can get sorted out. And yeah, that's a possible future that may never happen. See you next time. See, this is cold now, I'm going to have to go and heat it up. But I think that's number 4. Where are we time-wise? It's coming up to 11 o'clock. I'll probably only have 1 more cup. So I won't have even had my 3 cups of coffee that I'm allowed. I'll have had 2.5. Caffeine-wise, I mean, not actual cups. See you next time. Thanks for dropping by. Don't worry. I'll live, as they say. Bye for now.